Hey, good morning, church. Listen, this is the What I Wish I'd Said podcast for yesterday's message. We were wrapping up the Romans road trip, and we were in Romans 16. I showed you that video at the end about Central Park, and I just mentioned at the end of the message that part of what God was doing in Romans and what he's doing in us as a church is he's encouraging us to be outposts of Eden. That's a weird phrase. I love the phrase, but it's kind of a strange phrase. So today I thought, let's just talk through some of the things that Adam and Eve had with God in the Garden of Eden before they sinned. Because again, remember, Jesus is restoring us back to what we were before we fell, right? He's redeeming us, calling us back to what we were. So here's just some of what Adam and Eve had. And as we do this, look, who's making her appearance? It's Eden. It seems appropriate that she would show up as we talk about being outposts of Eden. They had an intimate relationship with God, right? They walked with him. Boy, she's making it tough. She's like, I want to be on this thing. Say hey to everybody, Eden. Yes, I know. She's super cute. They had an intimate relationship with God. And what does that mean? It just means that like a church that has an intimate relationship with God, a church that's an outpost of Eden, is going to cultivate his presence. We're going to invite people to come in to more than just programs and doing stuff, but presence and being with God. They had harmony and they had peace, right? I love when Eden does this, when she just paws at my arm. And it's like, I know what she wants. She just wants to get up here and put her head on my shoulder. And that's what Adam and Eve had with God. They walked with God in the garden. He knew them and they knew him. They had abundance and provision. I mean, I know that there was the one tree they couldn't eat from, right? But we focus on that too much, and we miss the fact that he said you can have of all the trees in the garden. Man, they had everything they wanted. They could take from those trees. They could take the fruit, whatever that the garden was producing, and they could give it to whoever they wanted to. They lived with abundance. They lived with provision. We talk about how God makes us generous on every occasion so that we can be generous on every occasion, and they had that. That's what it would look like as a church. Man, we would be able to bless our community. We'd be able to do like never-ending outreaches. I love that we're bringing Hope Vibes in one night a month. But why for just the summer? Why not do that all the time, right? We can do things like that all the time when we are outposts of Eden. They had purpose and they had vocation. What that means is like they didn't hate working. They had the opportunity to work. He said, multiply, fill this garden, like cultivate it, be fruitful. And so their whole purpose was to fill the earth with his glory. And instead of like, oh, I have to go to work, it's I get to go to work. I get to carry all of this as an outpost of Eden to my job. What would your workplace look like if you worked there with purpose? If you treated that job as if it was a gift from God, he had placed you right there to bring blessings and abundance and peace and purpose and relationship with God to that place. I'm telling you, man, your coworkers would always want to talk to you. They'd always want to hear what you have to say. They'd want to have what you're giving. They had innocence and they had purity, right? There's no sin. They walked around. They were naked without shame. And I joke about that all the time, like, let's don't go too far with that. But they didn't have to put on masks. They were safe, y'all, to be themselves without feeling like they were going to be judged and belittled. Man, I love that. Innocence and purity. And finally, they were marked by joy and celebration. I will say this. I don't know that our church, I don't know many churches that do, but I don't know that our church really understands the power of joy and celebration. I know that I want us to be marked with it. I want us to be people who are marked by joy, who are grateful for the things in their lives more than they are resentful for the things that are coming against them. I want to be marked by people who can return to their joy whenever they feel like it's been disturbed. I want us to be marked as a church that celebrates the goodness of God more than denouncing the evilness of man. I want us to be able to laugh and celebrate, enjoy each other. And churches that are outposts of Eden, they can do that. And they can celebrate even with a city, right? When a city that's not serving God does things that help people, a church that's an outpost of Eden can celebrate that with the city. These amazing qualities. Now, this is a longer podcast episode than I normally do, but I want you just to think through those qualities. Number one, are they in your life personally? Like, let's just hang out on joy. Do you bring joy to the places where you go? Or are you so burdened that people would be like, they have joy? And I'm not saying that to shame us. Joy's not about like always being on. Joy is that deep down, I just know that my God's in control and he's got me, and I can find joy even in these sad moments. I can anchor my soul to his goodness, and I can return to joy. Can you bring those to places? Will you transform the areas that you walk into today? Will you be an outpost of Eden? And would you help our church become an Eden outpost in the middle of downtown Albemarle? Have an awesome week, y'all. I can't wait to see you next Sunday. We got fam coming to share with us about what they're doing in our community and in our area, and I want you to come and be a part of that. Celebrate with them the wins that they're experiencing. And Eden is saying goodbye now. She's like, Dad, please stop recording so that I can take an undisturbed nap. And probably great naps, another benefit that Adam and Eve had before the fall. Man, let's let Eden get one, and then you get one as well. She says goodbye. Y'all have a great day.